Okay, so ready to dive into the world of jewelry repair? We're going to help you prep for an interview in this field.
Right.
We're breaking down common questions using insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
Sounds good.
This deep dive should get you feeling ready to show off all your amazing skills.
Yeah, it's a field that really blends like artistry and technical expertise.
Right.
You're working with precious metals, gemstones, sometimes even family heirlooms with a ton of sentimental value.
Absolutely. So it's not just fixing a broken clasp or anything.
Right.
Speaking of skills, the RoleCatcher Guide actually highlights different career stages from entry level all the way to master jeweler. It's really cool to see that progression and understand where you might fit in.
Yeah.
But let's focus on acing that interview.
Okay.
What's the first question someone might encounter?
Probably one of the most common opening questions you'll get
Hmm.
is, what inspired you to pursue a career in jewelry repair?
Okay.
This is your time to really let your passion shine.
So it's not just a list of skills, it's about the why.
Exactly. Did a childhood fascination with gemstones lead you here?
Right.
Are you drawn to meticulous craftsmanship, or maybe you're passionate about taking these pieces and restoring them to their former glory?
Yeah.
Really think about what sparked your interest and make sure to articulate that in your answer.
That makes total sense. And actually, RoleCatcher's AI can help you analyze job descriptions to tailor your answers and really hit those keywords.
Oh, for sure. Their AI tools are super helpful in making sure that your responses align with what those employers are looking for.
Yeah.
But okay, back to the interview prep. Another question you might get is, what are some common jewelry repair issues you have experience fixing?
Okay, so now's where you get to showcase all that technical expertise.
Precisely mention a range of repairs you've tackled, from simple chain soldering and ring resizing to more complex things like prong retipping or even stone replacement.
Yeah.
Be specific and highlight how versatile you are. You could say something like, I've tackled everything from simple chain soldering and ring resizing to the more intricate repairs like prong retipping and stone replacement. I'm also comfortable working with different metals like gold, silver, and platinum.
Yeah, I bet they also want to know how you handle those super delicate and expensive pieces.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, jewelry often holds so much sentimental value.
It does. And when they ask about your approach to handling these delicate pieces, emphasize your meticulous nature and your attention to detail.
Okay.
Talk about using those specialized tools like a microscope or a magnifying lamp
Yeah.
and all the precautions you take to protect the gemstones during repairs.
Mhm.
You could mention shielding gemstones from the heat during soldering, for example.
So it's about showing that you get the value, both monetary and sentimental.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to mention that you document the condition of a piece before you even start working on it.
Oh, that's smart.
It shows you're committed to transparency and being professional.
Right. Okay, what if they ask, has you ever encountered a repair issue that you were unable to fix?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, what's the best way to answer that?
I'd say honesty is key here. It's totally okay to admit that you haven't encountered every single repair scenario out there.
Right.
What matters is how you approach the situation.
Yeah.
You could say, while I always strive to solve any repair issue that comes my way, there might be some rare instances where I need more help. In those cases, I would consult with a more experienced colleague, research the issue thoroughly, or even recommend a specialist if needed.
Yeah, that shows you're resourceful and committed to finding the best solution, even if it means stepping outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And this reminds me of something else from the RoleCatcher Guide.
Okay.
Continuous learning. It emphasizes staying up to date with new tools and technologies.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of staying up to date, the interviewer might ask, how do you stay current with the latest trends and techniques in jewelry repair?
Okay, so this is where you can really shine as a lifelong learner.
For sure, mention industry magazines like Jewelry News Asia, online communities, workshops, or courses you've attended.
Right.
Anything that shows your dedication to professional development.
Yeah, but don't just name them. Explain how you actually use those resources to stay sharp.
Yeah.
Like you could mention a recent workshop where you learned a new laser welding technique,
Exactly.
showing that you're proactive and invested in your craft. Now, before we jump into more questions, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier, the AI-powered interview practice from RoleCatcher.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You can practice your answers to all sorts of interview questions and get AI-powered feedback on your delivery, your content, and even like your body language.
Wow, that sounds incredibly helpful for building confidence.
It really is. It's like having a personal coach helping you prep for the big day.
Nice.
But okay, let's get back to those interview questions. Another one that often comes up. is how do you ensure that the jewelry repair process is completed efficiently and accurately?
Got it. So this is all about showcasing your organizational skills and attention to detail.
Right. You want to highlight your ability to work methodically, manage your time effectively, and prioritize tasks.
Okay.
You could talk about using a system to track repairs, breaking down those complex tasks into manageable steps, or having a quality control process.
Yeah, you could say something like, I use a detailed tracking system to manage all the repairs, ensuring that each piece is handled with care and that deadlines are met. I also double-check my work using a magnifying glass to guarantee accuracy.
Perfect example. It shows you understand how important both efficiency and accuracy are in jewelry repair.
And it really shows you take pride in delivering that high-quality work.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of quality, let's talk about budgets.
Okay.
How do you ensure that the repair process is completed within the customer's budget?
Transparency is super crucial here.
Mhm.
You want to show you can provide those clear upfront estimates
Yeah.
explaining the cost of materials and labor. And if something unexpected pops up, you communicate openly with the customer,
Right.
discussing options and making sure they're totally comfortable with any changes to the price.
So open communication and clear expectations are key to building that trust with your customers.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that's emphasized in RoleCatcher's Career Guide, too.
Mm-hmm.
They highlight how important it is to build strong relationships with clients.
For sure.
Now, another question that might come up relates to those more challenging customers.
Okay.
So how would you handle the situation where a customer is unhappy with a repair?
All right. Well, this is where your interpersonal skills really come into play.
Right.
When they ask about handling a difficult customer, emphasize your ability to stay calm, empathetic, and professional.
Okay.
Explain that you would listen carefully to their concerns, really try to understand their perspective, and work towards a solution that meets their needs while still protecting the integrity of the piece.
Mhm.
You could say, I believe in clear communication and setting realistic expectations from the very beginning if a customer is unhappy. I would listen attentively to their concerns, explain the repair process thoroughly, and work with them to find a solution that makes both of us happy.
That's a great approach.
Yeah.
It shows you're committed to customer satisfaction, and you can handle those tough situations with grace and professionalism.
Exactly.
And it brings us back to that communication piece, a key skill highlighted in RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
It all comes back to that.
Right. Effective communication is so essential in this field, both with customers and colleagues.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of colleagues, let's say they ask, how do you collaborate with others in the workshop or repair environment?
Okay.
What then?
This is your chance to really showcase those teamwork skills, highlight your ability to communicate clearly, share your knowledge, and support your colleagues. Mention some specific examples of successful collaborations, like helping a colleague with a tricky repair or sharing a new technique you learned.
That's a great point. Sharing knowledge and learning from each other is so valuable in any craft.
It is.
And it ties back to that continuous learning theme we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
Very.
I want to emphasize how important preparation is.
Yes.
Review those common interview questions. Practice your responses, and don't be afraid to use resources like RoleCatcher's AI-powered tool to perfect your delivery and boost your confidence.
Great advice. Preparing thoroughly can make all the difference in how you present yourself and your skills.
Exactly. We've covered so much in this first part, from understanding that why behind your passion for jewelry repair to tackling those tricky interview questions. But we're not done yet. In the next part, we'll go even deeper with more specialized questions and explore how to make your expertise really shine.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back. We're going to continue our deep dives into jewelry repair interview prep.
Okay.
We're focusing on those questions that really let you show off your expertise.
Right. We covered the basics. Now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. What kind of questions should someone be ready for in this next phase?
So let's say they ask you something like, what is your experience with different types of metals and gemstones?
All right. This is where you can show off your knowledge of materials.
Exactly. You want to prove, those properties of different metals like gold, silver, platinum,
Yeah.
maybe even some alternative metals like titanium.
Mm.
Talk about your experience working with them, any specific challenges they pose and how you handle those.
So, for example, you could say, I'm proficient in working with various carats of gold and understand their different melting points and malleability.
Yeah.
I've also worked with platinum, which needs those specialized tools and techniques because of its higher melting point.
Perfect. And don't forget those gemstones.
Right.
Talk about your knowledge of different stone types, their hardness, any special care they need during repairs. You could even mention the Mohs hardness scale and say, you understand that a softer stone like opal needs extra care during polishing so it doesn't get all scratched up.
Okay, so you're showing that you really get the nuances of working with these precious materials.
Exactly.
Okay, this next question might seem a little tricky.
Okay.
Tell me about a time you made a mistake during a jewelry repair. What did you learn from it?
Oh, this is a classic behavioral question. They want to see your problem-solving skills and your ability to learn from experience. Don't be afraid to be honest. Everyone messes up.
No.
What matters is how you handle those situations.
So how should someone approach this?
Pick a specific example of when you made a mistake, explain what went down, and most importantly, focus on what you learned from it and how it made you a better jeweler.
Yeah, so you could say something like, once I accidentally overheated a piece while I was soldering and it caused a little damage. I was pretty bummed at first. But I took the time to figure out what went wrong. I talked to a senior jeweler, and I practiced that technique until I had it down. That whole thing taught me to be patient, focus on precision, and ask for help when I need it.
That's a great example. Shows accountability, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to getting better all the time.
Yeah.
And this is actually a great time to use those RoleCatcher AI tools.
Oh, yeah?
Their platform has a huge database of interview questions, including those behavioral ones.
Right.
You can practice your answers and get that AI-powered feedback to smooth out your delivery and make sure you're hitting all the right notes.
It's like having a personal interview coach right there in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Imagine the interviewer asks, what are your thoughts on the use of technology in jewelry repair?
All right, so here's your chance to show them you're forward-thinking and you're all about innovation. Talk about your familiarity with those new technologies like laser welding or 3D printing and how they're changing the game. You could even mention attending a workshop or reading up on these technologies to show them you're proactive about learning.
So, for example, you could say, I'm fascinated by the precision and efficiency of laser welding and how it allows for cleaner and more intricate repairs. I recently went to a workshop to learn more about this technique, and I'm excited to see how it keeps pushing the field forward.
Excellent. It shows that you're not just aware of new technologies. You're out there actively trying to learn them and grow your skills.
Right.
Speaking of skills, the RoleCatcher Career Guide really emphasizes specialization.
Okay.
They talk about areas like antique restoration or custom design.
Yeah, what kind of question might relate to those?
Maybe something like, do you have any particular areas of interest or expertise within jewelry repair?
Got it.
This is your moment to highlight any specializations or areas where you really excel.
All right, so if you're all about restoring those vintage pieces, talk about your experience with antique jewelry, the challenges you faced, and the satisfaction you get from bringing those pieces back to life.
Exactly. You could say, I have a real passion for antique restoration. It's fascinating to research the history and techniques used in those older pieces, and I love the challenge of preserving their integrity while making them look as good as new.
And if you're really good at custom design,
Yeah.
you could talk about your experience creating unique pieces, working with clients to bring their visions to life, and your understanding of design principles.
Exactly. Highlighting those specializations shows off your expertise and also your passion and dedication to a specific part of the craft.
Right. Okay, so before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on a question that pops up a lot towards the end of an interview.
All right.
Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, yeah.
It's always smart to have some thoughtful questions ready to go.
It shows you're engaged, curious, and genuinely interested in the job.
What kind of questions would be good to ask?
You could ask about the company culture opportunities for professional development or even the types of repairs they specialize in.
Okay.
You could even ask about their expectations for the role or any challenges you might face. Just avoid asking about salary or benefits at this point.
Right.
Focus on showing them you're really interested in the company and the job itself.
Asking those insightful questions can really make a lasting impression.
It can.
And show your enthusiasm.
For sure, we've covered a lot in this part.
Yeah.
Focusing on those questions that let you show off your technical skill, problem-solving abilities, and your passion for the craft.
Right. But we have one more part to go.
We do.
In the next section, we'll talk about the importance of those soft skills. Go over some final tips for interview success and explore the exciting future of jewelry repair. All right, welcome back to our final part.
We made it.
We've been exploring the world of jewelry repair.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to wrap things up with some must-have tips to help you really stand out in your interview.
Sounds good.
We've already talked about those technical skills, the problem solving,
Yeah.
even those tricky behavioral questions.
Mm.
Now it's all about those soft skills.
Yeah.
The ones that can really make a difference.
Right.
The RoleCatcher Guide actually emphasizes communication, teamwork, and customer service as those key qualities for success in this field.
For sure.
So how can someone highlight these skills during an interview?
Well, when it comes to communication, make sure you can explain your thoughts clearly and concisely.
Yeah.
Show that you can listen carefully and respond thoughtfully.
Hmm.
You could even give an example of a time when you had to explain a complicated repair process to a customer.
So it's not just about using all the technical terms, but about making sure everyone understands.
Exactly. And for teamwork, highlight your ability to collaborate, effectively share your knowledge, and be supportive of your colleagues.
Hmm.
Maybe mention a time when you all worked together to solve a really tough repair.
Right.
Or how you contribute to a positive work environment.
Yeah, because in a jewelry workshop, you're often working really closely with others.
You are. What about customer service? That's going to be crucial in this field.
It is.
When they ask about customer service, emphasize patience, empathy, and those problem-solving skills.
Yep.
Share a time when you went above and beyond for a customer.
Right.
Or how you handled a tricky situation with grace and professionalism.
Yeah, like you could say something like, I understand that customers are trusting us with their precious pieces that often have a lot of sentimental value. I always try to provide amazing service and make sure every customer feels heard, understood, and confident in our ability to take care of their jewelry.
Perfect. Shows you get how important it is to build that trust and connection with your customers.
Right.
All right, before we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to bring it back to RoleCatcher one more time.
Yeah, their platform is a fantastic resource for anyone prepping for a job interview, especially in a specialized field like this.
Absolutely. Their AI tools can help you analyze job descriptions, tailor your answers, and even practice how you deliver them.
It's like having a personal interview coach on demand.
Exactly. And their career guide has awesome insights into the industry.
Yeah, they talk about career paths, salary expectations, and those essential skills you need.
They even have a feature that helps you figure out your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, that's helpful.
Super useful for those behavioral questions.
It's like a one-stop shop for job seekers who want to stand out.
For sure.
Okay, so as we close out this deep dive, remember, confidence is key.
Yes.
Prepare thoroughly, practice your responses, and don't be afraid to show off your passion, your skills, and your dedication.
And use the resources available to you, like RoleCatcher, to get that extra edge.
The world of jewelry repair is waiting for skilled people like you.
It is so. Go out there and shine.
Maybe one day you'll be the master jeweler inspiring the next generation.
That's the dream.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into jewelry repair interview prep.
We did it.
We hope you found this helpful and feel ready to tackle those interviews with confidence and excitement.
Good luck, everyone.
Best of luck.